How's it guys? I'm Zander de Beer and this is Zuluk Fishing. Welcome to Mombak Monday. Mombak Monday is where we talk all about fishing tips, tricks and gear, traces, demos, bait presentations, all of those things. There's no fishing in Mombak Mondays, hence the name Mombak Monday. I upload a fishing video every Wednesday, so if you're new to the channel, check out my videos on a Wednesday. There will be some fishing in that. And if you're not yet subscribed to Zuluk Fishing, make sure that you subscribe right now. Hit that bell notification so you'll be notified once I upload a new video and you're not going to miss out on any fresh uploads. So last week we did the first Mombak Monday. So obviously this is episode 2 in the Mombak Monday range. We are discussing the Assassin Horizon Zero range. Last week we discussed the Horizon Medium. This week we're going to discuss the Horizon Medium Heavy as well as the Horizon Heavy, both in the 14-foot length. And we're going to start off with the Medium Heavy. Although I don't have a Medium Heavy, I have fished the Medium Heavy Zero before, and I fished enough with it to have a good opinion about the rod and where it fits in your fishing range. So little bit of the details of the specs of the rod. I'm not going to go into too much details as I went into it with the medium as well, but just to touch up again, if you haven't seen the video on the medium, comes standard with your Fuji reel seat, already fitted with your bionic finger, HMC 2 blank, EVA grip. A really great feature of the rod is the Fuji anti-tangle guides with the SIC inserts. The SIC inserts is really great. It's got less friction on your braid, making your braid to last way longer than any other guides available at the moment on any rods in the country. That's just a couple of things about the rod. Like all of the Horizons, it comes in a neat carry bag with a strap and carry handle. Nice robust zip. Won't build up any corrosion, won't get stuck. Really nice bag, excellent for traveling. First we're going to discuss the medium heavy. If you are looking for an all-round general, you want to catch any edible rod, Horizon Medium Heavy is the one you need to look at. The medium was more like a more specific rod for scratching your smaller edibles, and like I said, you can use it to throw lures. But if you want to go for slightly heavier fish but still want to catch the smaller edibles like your blacktail, your red Roman, bronze bream, galloon and all of those, the medium heavy is still sensitive enough in the tip, slightly heavier, allowing you to throw slightly bigger baits, further targeting fish like cob, white steenbras, mussel crackers, and it's just really an awesome rod for general edible fishing. If you want to buy one rod for all your edible fishing, the medium heavy is the one to buy. It is also a great rod to use for your smaller non-edibles. If you want to scratch and play around, catch a couple of small bronzies, small or hammerheads, Blu-rays. It is also a great rod for junior anglers to start out if they want to use it as a general rod. I'm talking about the guys younger than 16. If you're not a big guy and you're younger than 16, it is a great all-round rod to use for, like I mentioned, Blu-rays, hammerheads, small bronzies, scratching. And as you get older, as a youngster, you can use that rod to fish for edibles. And also a great rod if the lady anglers, especially in the competitive angling side. If you're a lady angler and you're looking for a second rod to use as a scratching rod to fish for cob, to fish for Blu-rays, to use it with your double hook trace for lesser sand sharks, it is a brilliant rod to use it for that application. But where I think it fits in the best is for a general all-round edible rod. It is perfect for that application. I've said it numerous of times that you need that parabolic bend in the rod that goes straight through into the butt section, and once again Assassin did this perfectly on the medium heavy. It has that perfect parabolic bend, a little bit of a faster action than the medium, with still a soft tip or a sensitive tip for your edible fish that can be a little bit skittish. You're not going to be overkilled when you're fishing for galjoen, and you're not going to be undergunned when you're fishing for cob or watsteamras or crackers or whatever for that matter. The weights that I prefer to throw on the medium heavy would either be a 4 ounce when I'm scratching for galjoen, bronze bream and all sorts of reef fish in between the rocks. When I want to fish for cob, and especially when there's a bank a little bit further, cracker and all of those things, and you throw bigger baits, it handles a 5 ounce perfectly. A 5 ounce to me in the surf feels absolutely perfect with the rod, well balanced. A 4 ounce to me when I'm fishing for galjoen, I don't want to go too heavy on my sinker, so I fish a 4 ounce, and it throws a 4 ounce really great. Although the rod is rated 3 to 5 ounce, I think its optimal weight to throw is a 4 and a 5 ounce. Like I said, on the rocks, scratching for smaller edibles, 4 ounce, scratching for fishing for bigger fish like cob, watsteamras, cracker, 5 ounce perfectly, throws it really well. Like I said in the previous video with the medium, that rating does not include your bait, so it's only your sinker weight excluding the bait. The 3 to 5 ounce is only an indication for you guys where the rod performs optimal. So you can, if you want to, it can handle a 6 ounce, but to me it feels, especially if you have a fast action like I do, to me a 6 ounce feels a little bit too heavy for the rod, and I overload the rod, and I don't get the distance with 6 ounce that I get with a 5 ounce, because I'm overloading the rod with a faster casting action. It's basically I load the rod too early and I don't get the whip out of the rod that I want to. If I need to get more distance with the 6 ounce, I need to throw a little bit softer and not a fast pulling action, fast casting action. If you have a little bit of a slower action when you're throwing, you can throw a 6 ounce when you want to reach your back bank, but like I said, the optimal weight for the rod is a 4 ounce and a 5 ounce. Going over to reels and braids, the rod is rated best suitable for PE2 to 4, but I find fishing for edibles, I like to go as light as possible to fish for edible fish. So I like to fish a 30 pound. When I fish in the surf, I'll fish either a 30 pound JDB Camo Covert, normal JDB, or JDB Ultra Tech. When I'm fishing in the rocks, I'll fish a JDB Ultra Tough. Ultra Tough, like I said in the previous video as well, is an American spec braid, so its breaking strain is actually like a 10 or a 15 pound more that it indicates on the spool. So a 30 pound will break it like 40-45 pounds. So it is slightly thicker, it can take a lot more punishment in between the rocks. That's why I prefer to fish a 30 pound. If you want to put an all-round general braid on your reel, if you're going to fish one reel on the medium heavy, and you're going to fish surf, and you're going to fish in between the rocks for your general edible fishing, I'll recommend that you spool your reel with 30 pound JDB Ultra Tough. It's thin enough to fish in the surf, you get a good distance on it, it throws really well, and it has enough, it is abrasion resistant enough to use in between the rocks as well. You don't have to be scared if you want to use a 40 or a 50 pound with the rod as well. You can use that in the rocks in between the bricks if you're going to fish for crackers with it. I wouldn't recommend using 40 or 50 pound in the surf fishing for cob. If you want to use a 40 pound in the surf, I'll recommend look at something like the JDB Covert or JDB Ultra Tech, which is a really thin braid and it casts really well. It will feel like you're fishing a 30 pound, but like I said, a 30 pound to me is really the ideal braid for the rod. Going over to the reels, you guys know that have been following the channel and have been watching the channel that I only fish with Shimano reels. That is my preferred brand, that is what I use. I've been using it since I was 12 years old, so Shimano to me is just a brand that I prefer. A lot of you guys are Shimano fans, Daiwa fans and Penn fans. Those are the three main brands used in South Africa rock and surf angling. So I'm just going to talk about those three brands when I'm talking what reels to pair with the rods. So firstly, the Shimano's and how I've been fishing it. Like I said in my previous videos, I have different spools for my reels with different braid thickness on and different sizes as well, because like with the twin powers and your Saragosas and Stellas, the 8,000, 10,000 and 14,000 spools all fit on each other. So 8,000 will fit a 10, a 14 and the 8,000 spool. At 14,000 will fit a 10,000, 8,000 and a 14,000 spool. So that's really convenient fishing using the Shimano's, so that I can put different sizes of spools on one reel, and that really makes it really awesome, and gives you a lot of options. You just carry one reel on your rod and you just take a couple of spools with you. Really comfortable doing it, doesn't take up a lot of space in your bag, and I can quickly change from light tackle scratching up to a bigger fish, or slightly heavier braid or slightly lighter braid. So the ideal reel that I like to use on the medium heavy is a 10,000. 10,000 twin power, Saragossa, Stella, even the static sustains, all of those would work really well, Speros. And then going over into the pen range, your pen sizes are different from your Shimano ranges. So in the pen range, you'll look at something like a 6,500, either a Slammer, Spinfisher, or the Torque even. So a 6,500 in the pen range would be ideal to fit on the medium heavy. Going smaller, I won't recommend in the Shimano range, the Daiwa range, anything. I won't go any smaller than a 6,500. Going into the Daiwa range, I'll recommend, I'm not completely sure if the Daiwas are 6,000s or 6,500s, but just correct me if I'm wrong, but it's either 6,000 or 6,500 like in the pen range, but I know it's not, it's different. Just have a look when you're buying a reel to fit on the medium heavy, that you buy a reel the similar size as a 10,000 Speros or a 10,000 Saragossa or a 10,000 Shimano range for that matter. I wouldn't go 20,000 on the medium heavy, it's too big, too bulky, and same for the, I won't go 7.5, I won't go 8.5 or 8,500 in the pen range on the rod as well. It's going to be too big, too bulky, and it's not going to balance really well on the rod. I won't go smaller either. I won't go a 5,500 or a 8,000 or a 6,000 in the Shimano range. It's going to be too small. So yeah, I think that basically covers the medium heavy. Just to recap, great all-round edible rod. If you're looking for one rod to carry with you to fish for edibles, the medium heavy is a great rod. Junior anglers, lady anglers, perfect rod. If you want to have some fun in the surf with smaller bronzies, Blu-rays, hammers, that type of thing, your small non-heads, you can use it for that. If you hook a big fish like a big duckbill, of a 60 or 70 kilo duckbill, big bronzy, it's going to handle it with ease. You won't have any problems. So that's where your junior guys can use it as a scratching rod, and if they hook the big fish, they can land it really easy. It's going to be super easy and super comfortable for a junior, especially if you're a small junior or a small lady angler. You throw the rod, it's going to be really easy, really comfortable. The rod is really thin, the butt section is really thin, the rod is really thin, it's really comfortable in your hands. So it's really a rod for everyone. So now we're going to have a look at the heavy and where the heavy fits in. Not going to elaborate too much on the features. It has the exact same features as the Horizon Medium Heavy. Same reel seat, bionic finger, EVA grip, same guides, straight through the bank in the whole Horizon range. So where does the heavy fit in, and where do you want to use it? Well, the heavy is, now you're actually starting to cross over into your smaller non-eds, bigger edibles. That's the type of thing that you want to target with the heavy. It's rated 4 to 6 ounce. The optimal weight that you're going to throw with the rod would be a 5 or a 6 ounce. I prefer to throw a 6 ounce when I'm using it to throw for things like hammerheads and grey sharks, small bronzies, that type of things. But when I'm fishing for cob, I like to use a 5 ounce, unless it's a really far bank and the wind is blowing a bit and I would need a little bit more extra distance. I'll go over to a 6 ounce. So where I use my heavy the most is when I'm throwing live baits for cob, because it's got a relatively faster action than the medium heavy. I use it to throw live baits, and also because of that faster action, use it to slide my live baits out. You guys would have seen in my videos recently I started to slide my live baits out towards the banks for the cob for a couple of reasons. Because if you throw the live bait, it slaps the water and hits the water, it might die, your trace tangles up with the live bait that can spin in the air. So I prefer to slide my live bait out. I know my live bait's going to stay alive a lot longer, and it's always in the current, always have water flowing over the gills. So what I did was I took one of my 10,000 spools, and I've got like I think 350 or 400 meters of braid backing. On that braid backing I've put 150 to 170 meters of 0.50 millimeters of mono, and then I use a mono leader as well, because I want to slide that live bait down on the mono and not on braid. Braid is not ideal to slide, it's going to twist, and you can do it. I know there is guys that do it, but I just don't feel comfortable doing it. So if you're standing on a high rock and the water is quite flat, then you can do it easily with braid, I reckon. But in the surf I prefer to use mono to slide my baits out. Why I'm using the heavy for that is because the heavy is faster, has a faster action than the medium heavy. When you shake your live bait down, it just shakes your live bait down better. Another thing is because there's a lot of stretch in your mono, it counters the fast action of the heavy. Another great place is where to use the heavy is when you're fishing for crackers, specifically with big bulky baits like crabs, alligators, because you're fishing quite biggish baits and uncomfortable baits to throw. The heavy really fits in well in that application. Also fishing for white stemras, you need a long throw with a crab, also not an easy bait to throw, and you're just looking for distance, fishing for bigger edibles. This rod is really great. Your big stemras, big crackers, big cob, great rod for that. Also where I like to use it is when I'm fishing on the rocks and I'm fishing targeting red romans. Because I need to throw a really long way and I need to throw the rod really hard, I like to use the heavy. But the biggest feature why I like to use the heavy for the red romans, it's not a totally overkill for the red romans because you hook other fish in between, but it has enough backbone to really force the fish and pull it out of the hole and not to let it dive into the crevices and back into his hole. You need to, when you hook the fish, you really need to force it. And you hook fish like yellow bellies and small punzies and all sorts of stuff. So the fast action, or the faster action, and the strong backbone that the rod has, it really allows me to force the fish and get it out of the holes. Then I really enjoy the heavy when I'm fishing in the surf. But the heavy HXL 15 foot kind of replaced what I'm doing with this rod in the surf when it comes to non-edible fishing. I used to use my heavy 14 foot in the surf throwing double hook traces when I'm fishing a league or nationals or any competitive angling, scratching for lesser sand sharks, using it for blue rays, hammers, greys, and just your general all-round smaller non-edible fish. And then once again, when you hook a big duckbill or any big fish that you weren't fishing for, you're going to be totally fine with this rod. It's going to handle it with ease. It's no problems. I promise you, you can land a really big bronzy on this rod as well. I've hooked a 150 kilo bronzy on it while fishing for white stemras with clean island. I fought the fish for half an hour before it bit me off, and never in the fight did I feel that I was undergunned with the rod fighting a 150 kilo bronzy plus. It's got a lot of backbone, and that's where it fits in really nice for lady anglers, that especially fishing competitively, where lady anglers want to use it as the main rod. They want to scratch with it, they want to throw slightly bigger baits, they want to catch hammers with it. Ladies will easily fish for ragged sharks in leagues and competitions with the heavy. Also a great rod for juniors if they want to use it for the same application as a general fishing rod. Basically they want to scratch with it, fish for hammers, just want to catch anything with it. It's light, throws really easy. You can throw a slightly bigger bait than the medium heavy, and it will handle a bigger fish with more ease than the medium heavy as well. So if you're looking for a rod that you want to use for big edibles, and for your smaller to medium non-edibles, the heavy is the one to go for. Reels that I use on the heavy is exactly the same as with the medium heavy. So you can just pair it with exactly the same reels as what I discussed with the medium heavy. Just often what I do is when I'm specifically targeting mussel crackers in a foul area, and that is the targeted species for the day, is that I will take my 14,000 twin power spool, put that on my 10,000, and I'll have 50 pound JDB ultra tough, and that's solely because I don't need to throw really far. But the most important thing is that 50 pound JDB ultra tough can take that punishment if that cracker goes into the rocks and you need to hold it and you need to force it. That's where I'll go with the 50 pound. So yeah guys, that basically covers both the rods, where you will use them, what you will use them for, what sinker weights to throw on them, what reels to pair on them, what braid to use. Yeah, just a little recap. The medium heavy, great all-round general edible rod. The heavy is more like a big edible, smaller non-edge, smaller to medium non-edge, like a crossover from the edible fish into the non-edible fish. If there's anything that I missed, any questions that you guys have, please leave that in the comment section. I see in the previous video that some of the guys asked if I'm going to talk about the Evos as well. Yes, I am going to talk about the Evos. I'm going to talk about the Evo medium heavy as well as the Evo heavy after we are done with the Horizon range. And then after the Evos, we might go into things like the Beachmaster, the Bluefish, and the Equinox. But we will see how these videos go down and how you guys like the videos. If you want to see them, if it helps you guys, please let me know in the comment section. If you like these videos, you want to see more of them, it helps me, it gives me ideas what you guys want to see and what you guys want to hear, and also help for future reference when you guys want to purchase a rod, so that you know exactly which rod to buy. But yeah guys, got a bit of a dry mouth now. Sun burned me this weekend. Spent many hours fishing for a big cob. Unfortunately did not get it, but we will go and look for it again. Yeah, but yeah, new video on Wednesday. I have to get editing on that thing. Time is running out. And yeah guys, if you want to see more of Zuluk fishing, please subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification so you'll be notified once I upload a new video. Also please, if you found this video helpful, please like it, share it with your buddies, and yeah guys, I'm out. Don't forget to subscribe. Cheers. Boom.